Hello everyone, welcome back to Array Blog once again. So today we are going even deeper into how JavaScript actually handles function internally through scope, closure, and if, right? So three core concepts that define how your variable and function behave behind the scene, right? So let's jump into that. So what I'm going to do, I'll create a file that says scope, right? Scope.js, right? So the first thing is what we are going to learn. We are going to learn about scope. So what is the scope? So scope, the area in your code where a variable is accessible, and there are mainly three type of scopes in JavaScript. First one is global scope, second is function scope, and the final one is block scope. So let's see one by one all these scopes, right? So I'm writing a code. So let's see. Let global var equals to, that is, I am global, right? So this is the global scope, and the so let me write it first. So it's a function, and then example. Say so. Let's place it. So function example. Then this one. So let's say let local var equals to, it is I am local, right? So let me print this console dot log. So I'm going to print global gl- global var. So there is a typing mistake. It's okay. So dot log is going to be I can say the local var, right? And the final is we have to call the function, right? So that we can see some output, right? So variable declare inside. So the variable declare inside, we cannot basically. So this is a global variable you can use anywhere in your entire program. So suppose this is the one of the part of the program. This is one of the functions, and we are printing here. So we can access the global variable here. But if you want to this variable, this is local variable because this is declare inside the scopes, right? And you cannot access this local variable outside of the function. So that is the local scopes, right? And the function scopes also. So this is the function scopes, local scope, and the global variable. So that is global scope, right? So let's see, and let's run it to see what we get here. So we can say scope. See, I'm a global, I am a local. Now what we are going to do, we are going to just copy this and paste this to see what we can access and what we cannot, right? So let me run this. See, it is giving error that's local variable is not defined. And once we'll comment this, so let me clear this, and see, we got I am a local. So that is basically a variable declared inside a function or local to that function, and they cannot be accessed outside. And the global variable is basically you can access anywhere in your entire program. So let's move to the next part, that is the function versus block scope. So the important thing here is to remember basically before ES6 only function scope exists using var. Now with the let and const we also have a block scope. So first have to clear this, yeah. And then we can say function versus scope, right? Function versus scope. So what we're going to do, we are going to use the example. So if true, where x equals to 10, right? And then the let y equals to 20, and then const z equals to 30, right? And now we are going to access this. So we'll say console.log is x, and we're going to copy this, and this one, right? Y and then z, right? So the y and z will give us an error, right? Because so x is basically a function scope, and y and z is basically a block scope. Y is block scope, right? So variable outside the block, that is function scope, and let and const only visible inside the block. So let's run it and see what we get here. See, we got y is not defined. Say console.log y dot is not defined, and it doesn't come to the z, right? So let me clear this, and let's comment this and then see what we get here. So we'll say, yeah, we got 10, right? So that is a function and versus block scopes, right? Next thing we are going to do, we are going to learn lexical scope. So let me write it, lexical scope, right? So lexical scopes is basically it's a one step deeper, and a lexical scope means that function can access variable from the place where it was defined, not where it's called basically. So lexical scope means that a function can access variable from the place where it was defined, not where it's called. So let's see example. We can say function outer, and then we are going to do these things. Let name equals to, we can say array block, right? And we are going to declare a function, and then we are going to say inner, right? And we can call console dot log and then name, right? Yeah. And we are going to call this inner and the main function, right? So the inner is basically this line. So the inner can access outer variable. Outer variable is this, right? So this will access the outer variable, right? So let's run it and see what we get it here. So we got array block, right? So the inner function remember the environment where it was created, and this idea led us to our next big concept, that is closures. So what we're going to do, we are going to learn about closures, right? So closure are one of the most powerful and interview worthy concept in JavaScript. So a closure is created when an inner function remember variable from its outer function even after the outer function has finished executing, right? So a closure is created when an inner function remember variable from its outer function even after the outer function has finished executing, right? So let's see examples. We'll say function, and we'll say counter, and we'll say let count equals to 0. Now we are going to return a function that say count plus plus, right? And then we are going to run console.log is basically count, right? And then what we're going to do, we are going to say const increment increment equals to the function counter, right? and we are going to call increment, right? So here what's happening, let me explain. So when we call counter, this counter, it returns the inner function, this one, right? And it is increasing the value. Even though counter finishes, the inner function is still remember the count, right? So this the inner function still remember the count. That's the closure. It keeps the variable alive. And closure are used for data privacy, function factory, and maintaining state without global variable, right? So let's run it and see what we get it here. So we got 1, 2, and 3, right? Because you're calling this 3 times, and that's how closure work. So let me give you a live example. For example, data privacy in bank account. So suppose you have a balance of 1000, and you have deposited something 500. So the closer, so with the help of closer, the amount is always remember that this guy has a 1000 rupees, and whenever you deposit something, you get also added into the also the 500 rupees, right? So the final balance will be 1500 rupees. So the balance is private, it cannot be accessed directly, and sorry, it cannot be accessed directly. Only through the return function it can be accessible. That's the closure in actions. Now the next thing we are going to learn IIFE, that is immediately invoke function. So IIFE is basically IIFE, that is immediately invoke function expression, right? So it's a function that runs as soon as it defines, right? So let's say function, and this, and then scopes, right? So we are going to say console.log is basically this runs immediately. This runs immediately, right? And then we are going to call this. So this run immediately, right? So let's run it and see what we get it here. So it says something we have missed here. It's a, oh, this is what done here. So let me clear this and run this. It's still saying missing argument after function, right? So what we are missing here, this one, and then function, and then, right, we have not missed anything. I think console.log, that this runs immediately. We have closed that also. So function console.log, and then, right, what we are missing here, why are you getting this? So this is a, okay, let me just change this. Don't think so. We have done something here. Yeah, we have misplaced something. So this runs immediately, right? So now this is, we can, you can also use arrow function to basically avoid this writing the function and everything. So the the main thing is to remember here, if we are used to avoid polluting the global scope and created isolated block of code, initialize logics right away, right? So the variable inside the IIFE stay private, just like a closure. So that's it for the today video. So let's recap what we learned today. So the first thing we have learned about the global scope, that is accessible everywhere. The function scope, visible inside a function, right? So the function scope, that is the, this is the function scope that is visible inside only the inside a function. block scope that is created by using let and const. So this one, this one, and lexical scope, that is next lexical scope. So this is the lexical scope, that is a function access variable from definition constant context, right? Closure, a function remember its outer variable always, and if he function runs immediately, right? That is what if he does. So now you truly understand what is scopes, closure, and if in JavaScript. So these are the fundamental to mastering asynchronous code, data privacy, and writing clean and modular logic. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and comments. So write down in a comment which topic would you like me to explain next. So thanks for the watching, and see you into the next one. Thank you.